Welcome to the Life of Jones. This is where we practice staying curious, we search for wisdom, and we do one other thing. What is it? It is we create stuff that makes us happy in the second act of our lives as the Jones generation. This is a Jones generation commentary, and today we're going to talk about the 4th of July. When this publishes, tomorrow, the day after this publishes, will be the 4th of July. And I wanted to talk about the 4th of July because I think it's important to us as Americans and as patriots that this is where it all started. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So the first thing I want to do is I want to read a little bit. I want to read the first sentence. Now, this was written in, probably, I don't know exactly the day it was really written, but it was declared on the 4th, obviously, of July by Thomas Jefferson. And the first sentence reads like this: when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the cause which impelled them to separate. They need to so this is a Dear John letter. It's a Dear John letter to King George III. And basically it's telling King George III to fuck right off. And they knew they were kicking the hornet's nest. They knew that King George III had the most powerful army and the most powerful navy on the planet. And here is this little podunk, pastoral community, basically, on the east coast of this continent, and they're telling the most powerful king on the earth that we're going to do it ourselves. We want to do it ourselves. And here's why. Now I want to read this again. Now there's one more passage out here, but before I gotta say that Jesse Dollimore, I am glad that I have this. I kind of got it. I got it in 2012, so I've had it for a little while. But I'll tell you what's really curious, and this is the best part of all. Let's see, where does it say that? It says, I don't know if you can, I'm going to try to get it up there close. It says, printed and bound in China. So I've got a Chinese version of our Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Now, this is just one of the reasons why the people in this country wanted to boot the king. And now see if it sounds any way familiar with what's going on now. And this is a quote from the Declaration. It says, "He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries." Now, where have I heard that before? Recently. I've heard that before recently. So that's one of the complaints that they had. And they list a whole bunch in the Declaration. So you kick out the biggest army. So fighting the army wasn't the problem. Fighting the army and the Navy, that wasn't the biggest challenge that we faced. It was scary. It was a death sentence to say, F you. But the real challenge came after. And this is the point. The real challenge is learning to compromise when you have a complex society. And even then it was complex. And it's even more complex now. And we're running and struggling with the same thing. We are not compromising in a way that benefits everybody the best. And the deal with that is I can't have mine and deprive you. I don't get to do that. I don't get to, my liberty ends right there. It doesn't end in your face. That's just not the way it works. That's just not what those framers had in mind. They did not want it that way. And they knew that stuff like this was going to happen. And they wrote a document, this is part of it, that supported a way to work within that constraint. So what I've learned is that I really do have to love my neighbor. And it's not because there's nothing altruistic about it at all. Loving my neighbor is good for me because I can't do it by myself. And it's kind of like we can't do it by ourselves. None of us can do it. We're social animals, and we have been that way for millions of years, maybe. I don't know if it's millions of years. Maybe it is millions of years. I don't know. Well, maybe that'll be another Life of Jones video. Is like, when did we start, running around in bands of monkeys? So that's part of what I've learned, is that I can't do it myself, and I'm okay with that. I don't know if you can hear my dog. My dog is out there barking. He's a big, strong, vocal animal. Anyway, so next week is, I don't know what day it is. I can't do the math that fast. Next week, I will be talking about my geekhood and my obsession with the Notes app Obsidian. Until then, thanks very much. See you then.